we have well, let's just say on this episode of the usual suspects committing the usual crimes, we have Twitter users generating child porn. I'm just gonna say like the actual words because that's what they're doing. That's what we really that's what we really are out here letting happen now. Elon and Grok, his stupid ass AI. I would probably show more like actual screenshots, but one, I don't want to see that shit anymore. And two, I'm not gonna go on Twitter. I don't open Twitter. I try and do that as little as possible. And honestly, I don't need to. If you know, you know. If you don't know, this was the most predictable use of AI, especially in the context of Twitter, maybe of all time. I mean, when I heard about it, I was usually my response to things is it's really predictable because you know it is, but I always still manage to be shocked because how can I be desensitized to this shit? I don't know how one could do it. So I'm frankly just not, and I've been blank staring most of the day, and most of the time when I was actually hearing about it, like a day or two ago, I I don't I don't know. I mean, we all knew the entire internet was already like freaked out right now, but it's like, okay, to expand more on the point that it's the usual suspects committing the usual crimes. Elon Musk, billionaire, usual suspect. He is one of the Trump defenders, MAGA people. I'm dark gothic MAGA and whatever kind of shit like that. Um, I also have something else to say about him later, but I need to stay on top of it a little bit. Obviously, it would be the people who stay on the platform that is run by that fucking guy. Also, the guy who did the Nazi salute. And it is a Nazi salute, it's not a fucking Roman salute. If you say that shit, I swear. um, Obviously, it would be the people supporting that shit and supporting the felon president that has been, I mean, he's been all up and down, inside and out of that fucking island, and inside of the Epstein files, which are currently being covered up. And it's really funny that, well, it's not funny, but ironic that right after the year that we right at the end of the year, we get the Epstein files. They were super redacted. The people started unredacting them and all of this, and we saw a lot more. Right after that, we have the supporters joining in on it. At first, it seemed like the Trump supporters were like, okay, we can't keep doing this bullshit around defending the guy who's like a multiple time felon. We can't defend him publicly while he's in the Epstein files. We all care about putting pedophiles under the jail and in guillotines, right? Well, that shit didn't last long. I, for one, already knew it was a lie. I knew that every Republican is a pedophile. Every single one. Because of the things that they defend, the values that they uphold, they never look inward enough to say, maybe all this shit that I'm doing to kids and grooming them into religions and stuff like that, maybe that is what leads to pedophilia being more easily done, and it leads to kids being victimized more if I'm taking them away from sexual education so that they don't even know what situation they're in when they're being predated upon. They never look inward enough. So you know what? All you niggas are complicit. Not niggas, because black people don't do this shit. At least not to the same scale. All people are capable of being pedophiles, obviously. But I think multiple people have pointed out by now that white people in general have I don't know, one of their favorite pastimes for some reason is predating on children. But I was gonna say that's neither here or there, but it's It's here and there. It's fucking everywhere. And I mean, how did we let it go under our nose that Elon Musk of all people was purchasing Twitter? How do we just I don't know. I've been asking myself this question for so long, way before now, and even when I was a little kid, how do we let guys like Trump and fascists in general, people like Hitler and shit like that, just walk up into positions of power and not do anything about it, and then say, "Oh, we didn't know that they were pedophiles or going to abuse their power to kill civilians. We didn't know that they were, going to be running pedophile rings and shit like that." It was extremely obvious, and so much more obvious now. So, yeah, anybody who chooses to participate in this shit, all the information was always available. And if you still choose to support these kinds of parties, I think there's a lot wrong with you. Obviously, every Republican accusation is a confession, which I also said before. It's like all of the trying to paint certain sexual minorities and minorities in general as like murderers and rapists and all of these kinds of things just because they're foreign or whatever, or not easily understandable by normative standards. All of that is just them projecting. It's very large amygdala activity, which I learned recently, I'll admit. I did not look into this because, like, I did know before that certain types of abuse, like, shrink your amygdala, which is the thing that your brain uses to process fear and stuff of that nature. But I never looked that much further into it because I don't know. I was too busy playing games and looking into other shit. There's so much information and so many avenues of teaching yourself things and learning. Inevitably, you will miss information, but that's like stuff that's not, it's not that bad to miss for a while and then learn later when it's actually of use to you for whatever reason it may be of use. And I learned that having a larger amygdala is something that makes you more prone to seeking the in group and trying to be a part of them and doing that out of fear and stuff like that. These people are projecting because they know that their group is full of pedophiles that they defend. So they think, why wouldn't every other group I'm not a part of also be like that? And listen here. No. we don't appreciate or tolerate any kind of behavior like that. And we just get shown over and over and over that we are not harsh enough on people who I don't know, people who hang out on Twitter in general, to be honest. Every time I see somebody on Twitter, I tell them get the fuck off of it. Even if it's my friends. When it's me, I stop using Twitter. I did make a Twitter account a while back and just let it rot, because every time I thought about doing anything on it, I thought about honestly, this entire platform and me being on it, just heard a noise, might be a stain on my digital footprint. I'm not gonna lie. And lo and behold, I was right. But anyway, so to be more specific, I'll actually put up an article page right here. I don't go on the website, but I did look up an article just for the sake of doing some research, and I read it. The AI is just being allowed to. It sucks that he was even programmed with this function, because they knew this was gonna be able to happen, right? They had to know. It is their jobs to know the possibilities of it and the extent of it, and it's definitely been done before with other AIs. I'm pretty sure, if not Grok, it has to happen, right? They're taking random images of just people existing online, And I'm gonna be real with you. It's a terrible time to be posting any kind of pictures of anyone, yourself, your children, or anything like that online. To be honest with you, especially on Twitter. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm not gonna victim blame. And they're just saying, "Hey, Grok, undress this poor woman right here." It's usually women. It might be other people as well. I wouldn't be surprised. And like, something I have to say is, aside from this just being complete degenerate bullshit, there is an literally endless amount of imagery online in like any given website, Instagram, Twitter, uh, Discord, YouTube, Pornhub, anywhere. You can go on Google and search image of naked woman and you would find one. You know why? Because sex work is a thing. And also, people just are naked sometimes, whether it be for artistic or learning purposes or be for sex. Why did we need to do this? Why did we need this technology to do that? Why? Only I didn't even mention OnlyFans. OnlyFans is literally at least partially made for the purpose of people being like half naked or entirely naked and looking scantily clad. Well, you can find whatever body type you want on there. This feels like it's just done for like. It feels like every tech bro and like cretin that hangs out on Twitter and like idolizes Elon Musk, they don't want actual convenience out of, or they don't want, to revel in the marvels of technology advancing or anything like that. What they want is just control. It's always been about control, and I noticed this also when I've been kind of passively researching for a video I want to do about gacha games and the psychology of people who play them, because I'm gonna be real, they just come off like incomplete incels who really need to be able to control women at all costs, in all ways, in all forms, especially in fiction, because that's like the place they can do it most, right? So they need all of the women in gacha games to be like basically naked and showing cleavage and showing. So at this point, it feels like they're just exerting control over random women. Like it's really about misogyny and harassment. It's not about undressing the woman that you see on Twitter. It could be partially about that. Sometimes it's like you don't need to overestimate terrible people. These fucking bottom feeders. I hate having to call people human, but they are people, and in a way, humanizing people is a better way of understanding them than just saying, "Oh, they're like monsters" or whatever, and they're not to be understood. And they're no, we have to understand their psychology so we can stop it and all of this thing. But it's not me doing it out of like trying to obfuscate what the actual issue is. It's I hate I hate that I live on the same planet as so-called human beings who would do this for any reason, but we just so it's definitely like partially for the control aspect, and the other part is just they see a specific looking woman and they say, oh, this person has, in a very misogynistic way through their eyes, has said, oh, this person has posted a picture, it's now public domain, and obviously it was for me to look at anyway, so now I'm gonna do what I want with it, and I want to see this specific woman naked because they look attractive to me or whatever, they look easily objectified or what have you. I don't know, bro. And with the kids as well is an entirely different thing. It's sort of the same, I imagine. But obviously, I cannot put myself in the mind of someone who would. I don't know. I can't like. Like. Do you ever? Do you ever either wake up or you're doing something like playing a game and then you kind of you look at your phone and maybe you just look outside and you're like, how can this shit be real life? How can it like how? And then the thing I wanted to say about Elon in particular. Look at this thumbnail. I wasn't gonna click on this because this is like right before I found this right before I was about to record. But I don't like body shaming, okay? I know people usually say that right before they body shame, but it's Elon Musk. I think we can all give a little bit of leeway to me and other people who point out the fact that he is shaped just like that ugly ass Cybertruck. Why? Why did it? Ladies, woman to woman, I'm asking. Would you let this into your body? If so, why? For what? How much money would it take for you to let this anywhere near you in an intimate setting? I really would like to know. And why is the answer anything but zero? If it's anything but zero, and if it's zero, good. You have learned your lesson. I just like I asked this before when I heard that like Elon Musk was with Grimes, who I don't really know, but I know that she is a very good looking, very pretty lady who also has probably done some racist shit. I don't know. But um that aside, what does she have to gain from letting elongated muskrat get impregnate her and then now leave her like be a deadbeat dad and leave her with a child that she has to take care of and like at him on Twitter, the website that he now owns. I'm not calling it X, by the way. You're never gonna get me to call it that. Why? What did you gain from that, Grimes? Can you don't actually? No, I do want to know because I don't care, but also I do. It's hard. I don't like having these things in my brain and having to rationalize them myself makes me just not want to be on the internet, and I'm trying so hard not to be. But right now, it's just what I'm doing until, well, it'll just be what I'm doing, and then I'll make my own content and like disengage from the wider sphere of content and news, and then I'll finally be free. Hopefully. It's a lot, man. And then, of course, I already made like a post about it on my channel, but we couldn't even get like more than a week into the year, and we already have fucking Elon like letting child porn be generated on his platform, and then the response like that he gave was basically not a response; it was an automated response from Grok saying like the mainstream media lies or something like that. And then we have ICE murdering a woman in cold blood in her own car for basically fleeing, from what I saw. I didn't want to look into it too much because I don't want to see anybody get shot. Even when Charlie Kirk died, I did not want to see him get shot. I hate these people. And when I hate someone or something, my goal is to make it so they don't exist anymore, either in my view or mind, or in the world in general. I was so thankful for him getting the fuck out of here and off this earth, because I don't want to bring the same oxygen as me, much less saying shit that endangers people I care about and myself. I didn't want to see him anymore. That's why I got so pissed about like people deep faking or doing whatever they were doing by putting him over his face over things and AI and shit. And this time it's a little bit different because I want to see an innocent person get shot for the sake of reporting it. I don't want people to be traumatized by the gruesome details. It's really already enough to know that an innocent woman who was, I think, from here, from America, and was like a citizen, like, I think that's enough and traumatizing enough, really. And I don't even know what else I can say other than all of this is just what we knew was coming. Like, we knew how disastrous another Trump presidency was going to be, and we didn't let it happen. But obviously there is the section of the population who just went and voted for him, a lot of women, a lot of Latino people. Government spy plane right over my head, awesome. And I do blame them. Everybody kind of does, fairly. But obviously we still are going to fight for everybody, because if even one group of people is not free from tyranny, then nobody is, and all that such. But fuck, man. Everybody with a brain saw this coming, whether they read political theory or not, whether they looked at history or not. If they could decipher what Trump was saying, they are probably thinking, this is really fucking bad. I'm struggling not to be speechless, but thankfully in my videos I've been, this has really helped me practice having a better, more coherent flow of thoughts in my head. I'm getting better at freestyling. I'm not gonna rap on camera though. Yeah. But not to make a joke of any of this. It's insane. And I guess, like I said, I'm still a little bit surprised. I feel like letting myself not be surprised by it might be worse, to be honest. And I might start to get complacent. So I guess I'm thankful for still having be conscious to be shocked. But at this point, I guess I should just expect worse. I don't know. I thought it was starting to get better. I thought that the whole MAGA base was like, okay, this is where we draw the line. Let's not defend the guy in the Epstein files. Let's get the files released. And then right after the files are released, pedophiles on Twitter. I really want to call Elon Musk a pedophile too, because obviously he is the most complacent. He let this shit exist, and he chooses not to respond or do anything about it or anything like that. But, I have no actual... I mean, he did hang out with multiple. Being a billionaire, he hung out with, like, the biggest one. So, take that for what you will. I guess I don't have enough evidence. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm just not gonna say, like, outright, right after it. I have plausible deniability. So they can't... Fuck. I don't know. That's really all. What more can I say? Just don't post pictures of yourself, like, anywhere. At least try not to if you're aware of these kinds of things. And fuck, I don't do that much outside, so I don't have any suggestions. Go organize. Go door to door and look for a friend. I don't know. Disengage from that and stay away from ICE. Fuck ICE, obviously. Just, if you're still brave enough to protest, obviously go ahead. I don't know if that woman who was killed was even protesting. I think she was literally just being harassed or something like that. But either way, she doesn't deserve to die, and that's all. I'm gonna go play Silent Hill 3 because I feel like I'm in fucking Silent Hill in real life anyway, so what's the difference, right? And clean off Inara.